dispatch on the general meaning of the de facto meaning of Keynesianism, or the economic philosophy of Keynes. Um, the use of creating money from the state is a specific form of Keynesianism, so far as Keynesianism means that rather than, as in the classical political economists Adam Smith and Karl Marx, the main movers being the producers and the consumers, or which can be stated in several different ways, but the people who buy things and the people who make things. There is added this abstract control of the nomos. So nomos covers both law and money, currency, because these things are both producible on fiat, on human fiat. So Keynes introduces human fiat as a cybernetic steering, or an archetype which can control the direction of the economy. So I give a simple metaphor of what this means in terms of, so what are they actually doing? You press a button and you say this company or this man has a certain amount of money credited to him in his bank account, and if he takes, if he uses his credit card or ATM card, it will credit him that money. But you're just created it by fiat. You press the button, it's in the accounts now, it's legal. So I analogize this in its power to steer or guide a country to the situation where somebody would be sitting in a car and there's a driver, and the driver refuses to, there's gasoline in the car's going, everything's fine, but the driver refuses to put his foot down, do that single act which is in his power of putting his foot down and pushing down on the gas. Only if you tell him when he gets to the destination you'll pay him will he put his foot down. So what Keynesianism did is create this ability to push out of the de facto situation into something where you promise somebody something, and that gets a certain, within the possibility of people believing you're really going to pay them, and within the possibility of what they can do, it creates an ability of some people to interject guidance into the economy, into the whole of human life, really. So that's the basic meaning of Keynesianism, and I think to reiterate, the features are that instead of the classical two-sided economy, there's now a three-sided, where something intangible enters in, and the second part is simply that this has been powerful and successful, I suppose I would say. I would add then to that, then one could say as a coda that it wasn't simply that other forms of economics failed, but one could, in fact, it's almost simply an irreducible accident of history, of fate, radically irreducible enigma of fate, that it just so happened that that Keynes came up with this idea, that he was a good talker, that some people, even though, for instance, Milton Friedman says Keynes was a genius, but he knew next to nothing about economics. Um, uh, sorry, not Milton Friedman. Hayek. Hayek. Of course, Hayek said that. Hayek who knew Keynes. Um, but what this all means is up to people who would simply start at that um, point I tried to direct thinking people to, which is that Keynesianism has a kind of simple de facto meaning, which leads to a kind of mystery in a certain sense, because it's hard to know what directs the thinking of the people that make the choices in terms of how to steer the economy with this Keynesianism mechanism of basically forms of bribing people to kind of do things like put their foot on the gas pedal going in a specific direction.